What if every state in the United States had its own language, but like states next to each other could understand each other, but the farther you go away, the more different the languages would get. So maybe people from New York could understand people from Pennsylvania, but people from California would have no clue. This kind of phenomenon is called a dialect continuum, and this used to be how most languages worked. So we think of the Romance languages like Spanish, French, and Italian as completely separate languages, but there used to be intermediate forms between all of these. The languages got more and more incomprehensible the farther you went away, but people didn't really notice because they didn't travel that far. There really wasn't a hard line, and everybody just sort of thought of themselves as speaking Latin. And this is how most language families started. The reason that continuum doesn't exist as much today is because states and nations would standardize individual dialects from that dialect continuum, and then those would kind of grow and wipe out the other ones. So somebody on the western border of country A might be speaking a dialect from way out east, and somebody on the eastern border of country B might be speaking a dialect from way out west. So despite being right next to each other, they no longer have similar languages. Nowadays, standardized education and mass media kind of make it harder for a dialect to continue at a form. But for most of human history, this is just kind of how languages worked. Hard linguistic barriers only formed when people either traveled really far or they kind of got isolated, so they were on an island or up in the mountains or something.